Anyone who's a member of Prairie Views knows that Dave was a prolific contributor on the Yahoo group. Some of us read every word he wrote, and some of us may have deleted a few of those emails. But Dave was interested in the whole world, and he was one whose ideas were unique and unexpected, to say the least. Erin and I are going to share some of Dave's words with you this evening.
Several times it occurred to me that the stream of consciousness musings that Dave posted to Prairie Views would have made a really good blog. I thought about suggesting that to him, but I never did. But he had a captive audience on Prairie Views and his email list, so maybe that was better. But it would have been nice if he had a blog to have that central repository of all of his writing left over. But indeed, we do have some of them because Rick looked at his email and found many of them, and he's compiled a lot of them for Dave's family. But we are going to share just a few of them tonight. In some cases, they have been edited for brevity. As we read, picture Dave perhaps at a desk, writing late at night, a la Andy Rooney, to deliver these news.
I'm not very interested in people's religions. What's important to me is how they act, not what they believe that makes them act that way. Deeds, not creeds, we always say. I agree. We should apply that to all religions.
The Ganges River bisects India laterally and flows into the Bay of Bengal through Bangladesh. Our plant was located on the Burraganja River, which is a branch of the Ganges. During quiet times, I used to go up on the roof and watch the river traffic. I stood on the bank once with an operator named Ghazi. I told him that in my country, there were rivers this wide that froze, and you could actually walk across them. I could tell that he didn't believe me. And it seemed fantastic even to me standing there.
The operators in the plant were all Muslims in their 20s, and they watched each other for religious observances, which had a lot more to do with promotions than any sort of confidence. I asked them why they couldn't get along with the Hindus. They worship the cow, one said, and we eat the cow. Pretty hard to reconcile that.
The company furnished a vehicle and a driver to take me to work and back. The vehicle was a Land Rover, and the driver was Abul Hussein. He would pick me up at my house, drive me to work, wait while I worked, then drive me home. I drove quite a bit since he wasn't a very good driver, and I enjoyed driving. The road wasn't bad. It passed through several small villages with their rice and jute caddies. Abul's English was pretty good, so we used to visit on the way. Sometimes, though, our communication broke down. One afternoon, I saw an unusual sight along the side of the road. "Look, Abul," I said, "there's a man with a bear on a chain." Abul smiled and said, "In my village, there are many Christians."
Eric and Frank both get you to this next one about how much Dave loved other kinds of people, you know. Once when the plant was shut down, the operators asked me to have a meal with them. They said we could have a party. When the time came, there was only one place set. That was for me, the honored guest. After trying without success to get them to join me, I pitched in while they stood and watched. After I finished, they all sat down and ate. It looked like fun. I wish that I could have joined them.
The Bengalis had some different ways of speaking English, some of which made more sense than our ways. They would say, for example, "A cold has caught me," rather than "I have caught a cold." It got more dramatic sometimes. "I am attacked by cold fever," or "I am seized by lethargy," a common problem.
It's been 20 years now since Marcia and I joined the Peace Corps, which turned out to be for a 3-year stint. When I told people our plans, their first response was, "Is that still in existence?" The next question is, "What are you going to do there?" It was easy to answer the first. The second was more difficult since I didn't have any idea what I could do. I recalled seeing a Peace Corps picture somewhere that provided an answer. It showed a smiling young blonde woman. She was surrounded by smiling African women, all holding babies. She was holding a clipboard, and there was a baby sitting on a portable scale. That's what I'd like to do, I thought. I'd like to weigh babies. I'd never weighed a baby, but it looked pretty easy. It didn't seem to be imperialistic or condescending, both things I worried about. It seemed like a nice thing to do. It also seemed to be well received. Well, in 3 years, no baby presented itself wanting to be weighed. Neither, for that matter, did any African women ever show up since I was assigned to Paraguay.